Hey guys, it is USS Wisconsin 94, and today I was going to be talking about is console following PC or is PC following console? The reason why I asked that is because I've seen the forums for all versions, for Blitz, PC, and console, and one thing I find interesting is how that everybody wants something from the other version. PC wants something from console wants it from PC, and Blitz is kind of their own thing, but they still have things that they get from us, and vice versa. In the background is going to be some gameplay of me playing my M43 Scumbag Mobile, and there's also going to be a little later, there's going to be some M46 gameplay as well. But basically, I was curious as what is people's idea for this? Like, what do you guys think should come from both PC and Blitz to console? One thing I find interesting is that I look here on Firefox and information about WoT Tanks, what's ahead for WoT Tanks on the PC news. They talk about premium rebalancing from 9.15, 9.16, and 9.17. And the bottom is they show about new premium tanks that they're having in the pipeline. It's because the STRV S1, a Tier 8 Swedish tank destroyer, and the Object 252U, Tier 8 Russian heavy tank. But one thing I find interesting, I look on here, on the news for what's ahead, and and it shows from 9.15, the A32 gets a dispersion buff from 0.52 to 0.44, and that's basically it for that. The 59 Patton gets a buff to its minimum traverse speed of its reverse speed from 16 to 20 kph. Its view range from 370 to 400. Aiming time reduced from 2.5 to 2.3. Gun reload is going from 7.6 to 7.5 seconds. Dispersion reduced from 3.8 is 0.38 to 0.36. You also got the Scorpion, which also has better on the move and whole traverse dispersion from 0.32 to 0.28. Its maximum reverse speed changed from 12 to 17 kph.
Let's go.
It also has its aiming time lowered from 2.0 to 1.9, and its dispersion on barrel move is from 0.14 to 0.1. The 112 had its price changed from 12,250 gold to 10,500 gold. And they also moved the fuel tanks from the front to the rear of the tank, which I think is something that it's actually interesting. The next one is the SDA2. Its reload was increased from 7.1 to 7.5. Its dispersion after shot reduced from 3.5 to 3. And its shell penetration was jumped up from 186 millimeters to 212, which is pretty interesting. But also is the fact that it does not have, the last time I checked, I think on PC, it does not have premium matchmaking. The next one is the Panzer Koppenwagen 4.5. The Panzer 4.5, I'm just going to call it the Panzer 4.5. It also had a bunch of changes. That's a lot. Okay, I'm not going to answer all that. Holy shit. Anyway, the next tank is the heavy tank number 6, which is basically a Japanese Tiger at Tier 6. It had basically its standard shell for its gun, which is the 88 L56, I think, from 132 to 145 millimeters. The next tank is the Skoda T40, which we do not have. Neither of these tanks we have yet. It's been changed to neither of these tanks we have, and they both apparently have the L56 gun, the 88 millimeter.
Thank you.
But other than that, that's for 9.15. And on
I'm gonna get shot in
9.16, they had the VK 4503 which is basically the King Tiger turret and hull. The stock turret and hull basically dropped down into a tier 7. They improve its profitability by 15% as a premium credit maker. Now earnings are comparable to tier 8 vehicles, while preferential matchmaking prevents it from facing tanks with much higher tier, which is tier 10. They also gave the I-112 a dispersion buff on the hull and on the move from 2.5 to 2.3. Its dispersion of the turret traverse reduced from 0.14 to 0.12. And that's basically what they did for a 916. And then here comes the biggest one of them all. This is 9.17 buffs that I personally would love to see them do on console as well. The first one is FE4202P, the Prius. I don't care. I don't want it. I already have the Chieftain T95. But for those who do have it, the buff was from 35 kilometers per hour and buffed up to 40. They also gave it a little bit of profitability by 10%, which doesn't really matter that much. The next one was the Panther 88, which here it has preferential matchmaking. So instead of seeing tier 10s like it does on PC, we are seeing tier 9. So I don't know if we're going to get these buffs. It's whole traverse speed from 38 to 40, horsepower from 600 to 700. It's gun depression from 7 degrees to 8 degrees, which is more like 5 degrees to 8 from the front, because for some reason. The next one was probably the biggest buff I've seen. It's probably the best one. Is the Lava. The Lava gains increased durability. Its improved armor makes it resilient to enemy assaults, while the gun depression of -10 enables the Lava to return to favor while playing on uneven terrain. Its awful mobility used to keep the Lava behind its powerful brethren, the IS-6 and T-34. Following the engine boost, it will be able to secure advantages firing positions, while thicker frontal armor will make it play like a true heavy in certain combat setups. What they did was they increased the horsepower from 800 to 1,000. They buffed its gun depression from 8 degrees to 10 degrees. They gave its frontal armor 175 and 180 on the front turret, not the mantle, but the turret. They also gave it 100 millimeters of armor on the sides, but they also gave it 225 on the little plate in front of it on the hull. That's also been buffed, and so has both parts. 150 in the upper plate, 225 on the middle bar that you can see. If you have a liver, you can see it right there. And the lower plate has been at 120. The next tank is the WoT 111, which we do not have in game. It is in the proving grounds, but we do not have it actually in game. It's gotten a hull dispersion buff, 0.23 to 0.2. Dispersion on turret traverse, 0.14 to 0.12. Dispersion reduced from 0.46 to 0.44. Aiming time reduced to 3.4 to 3 seconds. Engine powered increased to from 520 to 600. Increased lower plate armor, I think, and turret armor. The next one is a big one that I personally would love to see. Is the M4A1 Revolise, or the Ravioli, which is much easier to pronounce. It got a huge buff, probably one of the biggest buffs I've seen, besides the Livas. Its dispersion on the whole traverse and the move was reduced from 0.18 to 0.16. Dispersion on turret traverse reduced from 0.16 to 0.13. Its dispersion from 0.36 to 0.35. Aiming time reduced from 2.8 to 2.4 seconds. Engine power from 460 to 550. Gun depression, biggest buff of them all, is from 7 degrees to 10. They unfortunately changed the engine type from diesel to gasoline, which means that you're going to be set on fire a lot more, unfortunately. The next one is the STA2, which it now gets a more powerful engine, 10 kilometers per hour faster speeds from 45 to 55. and also lower the chance of fire on impact from 15 to 12%, which is pretty good. The 112 also got another buff with a side hole slope to the whole floor increased from 60 to 80 millimeters. I am honestly not sure. I think that just means the side of the tank. I don't really know. And here's one I think I'm pretty glad about, but I'm also a little annoyed, is the T-34 has received a buff as well. Unfortunately, it is not the buff that I was hoping it would have. The T-34's biggest problems are its terrible reload, its aiming time, and it's also its dispersion. And also, as another thing to me is the mobility is trash. It's still better than the T-32s though. It went from 0.32 to 0.28. Dispersion on turret traverse reduced from 2.4 to 2.2. From 0.22, that is. Its aiming time is 3.4 to 3.2, which, funny enough, is that Blitz version actually gave it a bigger buff than PC in terms it gave it a little better. Yeah, I think it basically gave it the same traverse and whole traverse and on the move dispersion. The turret, the whole, and on the move dispersion was all of them reduced, but the aiming time was also reduced to 3.1. Still a buff, but still not the one I was really hoping for. But they also gave it a 380 view range for some reason. Personally, don't really care. The next one is the Patton. It's a Patton KR. It got frontal armor thickness to 111, and the gun mantle has been increased to 203 to match the M46 Pershing. The Super Pershing also got its penetration for its AP round from 170 to 192, which I think is interesting. I personally didn't care, but then again, I'm usually just spamming premium rounds anyway. There are some other things. They also have some new changes to the German line that they're planning for 2017, is that they give it some love, especially for the mouse, the E100 and E75 and all these other little buffs to it. The biggest ones is the German line is getting a new line. Now it's going to go from the Tiger P to the VK4502A, the VK4502B, and now we're going to get the Panzer 7, which is basically the Vickers 7201K, the failover, which is basically what it is. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's pretty entertaining. It's got the gun of the E100, the 150, but also has much better mobility, which is pretty cool. They also have some other buffs. E75 is going to get better handling for its gun. The Tiger P, Tiger 1, Heavy Tank number 6, and VK3001P gets thicker turret armor, which I don't agree with. The Tiger P I agree with. The Tiger 1, I don't agree with it. I think it should deserve a nerf. They also get the VK100-01P and the Maushin. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it also goes from those two to the mouse. So instead of being the VKA and the VKB going to the mouse, they're now going to bring out the VK100-01P and the Maushin to the mouse instead. For the Japanese line, they basically changed some of that armor and guns for the OYs and the top tier Japanese heavies, which I personally don't care for. There's also some other things. They're also giving the T28 prototype, the T28 and the T95 engine boosts. So they're going to give them a lot more speed, which is interesting. And, let's see. Failed platoons are going to be a thing of the past. So it's no longer, if you try to create a platoon that has a 3-tier spread, so like if you have like a tier 6 got a platoon with a tier 8, that's not going to happen anymore. They say technically impossible. Also there'll be a limit to 3 RD per team. Light tanks will now have a tier 10 branch. Oh my god, thank god for that. But I also hear that they're going to make other tanks, other tier 8 light tanks into tier 9s because of the matchmaking, and probably give them some buffs. They also have some other things. I personally would like to see these changes. I personally would like to see some other things from both PC and Blitz. I personally would love to see the T-34 Independence from Blitz. I know that's a very controversial thing, how they want all these camo colored goofy tanks and whatnot, but this is probably the only tank I really care for, that I'd really love to have. But other than that, there's some things from Blitz, there's some things from PC, and there's something from console. I don't know what Wargaming says that something big is going to happen next year. They say in January there's going to be a big meeting, a big show, or something like that. It's going to show us some new stuff. I am not holding my breath for that because it's Wargaming. It's been hard to trust them for the past couple months with the black tanks and all these free premium tanks, which is really great, but the way they've been doing them is dumb. And there's also some other questionable things as well. But I didn't have enough time to make enough room to talk about this, unfortunately. But overall, I do think I don't know where we're going with Wargaming. I hope they do give these tanks some buffs. I got some other ideas. Unfortunately, I think I'll save that for another video because I got about 2 minutes until this video is done. But overall, I think we should follow PC and Blitz to a degree, but I don't think we should blindly follow PC the way that people are so desperately want us to do for some reason. I don't know why, but it's just something I think that people should be careful. But overall, that's just me. I really got nothing else to say except for that because I hope Wargaming thinks about what they're doing in the future. I hope we go in the right direction. I love this game. It's so much fun. I will continue to play it until Wargaming does some extremely stupid shit. But other than that, that is basically all I got to say for today. So this has been USS Wisconsin 94, and I'll see you guys later. Oh, one more thing. I think I might be getting an Xbox One coming soon, but I don't know. But I'll keep you guys up to date on that more. So I'll see you guys later, and have a good day.